there are a lot of people of faith in that room who want to hear the truth. And look, guys, we can't pretend that Donald Trump is a man of character. This is a guy who paid off a porn star. This is a guy who has regularly lied. This is a guy who's abused people who have worked for him. I mean, I consider myself, now that he's taken off on me, I'm happy to be with Rex Tillerson and with Jim Mattis and with John Kelly and with Mark Esper and with Bill Barr, who he called a gutless pig.
Wow, that's a Republican speaking like a Democrat or like a sane person. I wonder what Trump has to say about it.
Many say don't punch down when talking about people like Chris Sununu or Sloppy Chris Christie or Ada Hutchinson. I call him Ada, not Asa, because of certain reasons. Or others. But sometimes it's necessary to talk badly about those that for no reason other than politics speak badly about you. Otherwise, the people that love you don't know whether or not they're for real. Are they saying the truth?
Ah, yes. Eloquent as always. By the way, he calls Asa Hutchinson, who is a former governor, Ada Hutchinson. We think it's because he's referring to the Americans with Disabilities Act, which means he's saying Asa Hutchinson has a disability. We're not quite sure. But he continues.
They're for real. Are they saying the truth? They're not. So sometimes you have to punch down and you have to say what's happening. Otherwise, they won't understand. It's not fair to them. You have to put them in proper perspective, these bad people. You have to put them in their place. People like this are very destructive. And you have to tell the voters what it's all about. Otherwise, why should they be able to understand it? Thank you very much.
I just listened to that and I honestly don't understand it. It's just a lot of mumbo jumbo. Like he started to make sense, but then he didn't make sense. And then he said, I want to punch down because people got to understand it. You got to put them in their perspective. I don't even know what he's talking about. This guy's the king of mumbo jumbo and he's the king of bullying. But in all seriousness, this is how he sees himself.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be. The authority is total.
You heard that right, folks. He just said when somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. He's describing an autocracy. He's describing a dictatorship, which is what he wants, which is what he almost got on January 6th when he brought all of his cronies to Washington to do a coup of a democratically elected president. He almost got it. We got this close to living in a dictatorship, and yet he's still free. How is this guy still a thing? Remember for about 2 years when Twitter and all the other social sites got rid of him and we weren't really hearing as much about him? It was such a nice time. But now he's back. He's in the news all the time because he's the leading candidate for the Republican Party. What's wrong with the Republican Party? Listen, I don't agree with a lot of the issues with the Republicans. I don't agree with a lot of issues, but I wish they would find a candidate who is not an indicted, impeached, sex-offending, megalomaniac, narcissist, insurrectionist, just a bad human being, mismanaging COVID. This guy's the worst. I think the reason the evangelicals like this guy is because he helped them get rid of Roe versus Wade. He put the judges in place. He's a useful idiot. He put the judges in place that were needed to get rid of Roe versus Wade. And now he's promising if he becomes president that he will get rid of the immigrants because immigrants are the biggest problem to America, when in reality, the biggest threat to America are right-wing extremists. We all know that. They want to overthrow the government. They're constantly showing up at anything that creates any progress in America and wanting to pull us back. And Donnie gave them an excuse to come out of the closet, as we saw in his debate when he said, Proud Boys stand back and stand by. And now he's coming back. And again, they're voting for him. And again, they want him. And I just don't get it. And if there's any Republicans that really have any kind of principle, they should side with the types like the Chris Christies and the others who are at least being critical of this guy and just call a spade a spade. The guy is a bad human being. Yes, Joe Biden is old, but Donald Trump is old and indicted. Think about it. And also, there was a court decision of him being a sex offender. And he also mismanaged COVID and hundreds of thousands of people died. And he tried to overthrow democracy. Don't make me repeat it. He tried to overthrow democracy. And if you don't think he's coming after you, he is. I don't care if you're black or Latino or gay or whatever you are, he'll find a way to come after you. Trust me. I was born in Iran, all right? We had the Iranian Islamic Republic of Iran, the Islamic Revolution of 1979. Before the revolution, there were a lot of more freedoms. There were problems in Iran, but there was a lot more freedoms. As soon as it became the Islamic Republic of Iran, people were arrested, people were executed. That's how it worked. And if this guy wins, get ready. He's coming after you. I'm Maz Jobrani. Watch my new comedy special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. It's happier. It'll make you happy. It's a fun thing. It's not as doom and gloom as Donald Trump. Why is he still there?